Right, so what I want to talk about now is the importance of clip gain. So clip gain is basically this line here, and I can essentially draw anything I want in here. So I can do this, 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 and I can essentially change how the vocal is going to hit our plugins, because this is pre-plugins. Everything we do here is going to affect the signal that comes into this chain. So that's really important to know. Because as we go along, let's say we've got a particularly dynamic vocalist, someone who sings very quietly, maybe during a verse where it's a bit of a lower register, and then when the chorus comes in, maybe it goes to a higher register and they sing very loud. Let's pick a random plugin as an example. These saturators are a good example. So let's say, for instance, on the verses, we're not really hitting the saturators that hard. And then when the chorus comes in, the vocalist sings in a high register, and then we're pushing right into the red on both of these. So you've got this situation where the vocal is not getting any saturation or very little saturation for the verses, and then when it gets to the choruses, it's getting too much saturation and it's starting to maybe full on distort. So when you're using clip gain, I think you should be using it in a way which is harmonious with the sort of sound you want from your non-linear processors. So for instance, your saturators and your compressors. You want it to work in such a way where you're going to get a consistent enough sound from the saturators. There may be parts where you actually want the voice to distort a little bit more. So it can be quite nice when, let's say, the vocalist really belts out a note. You get a nice bit of saturation on that note in particular. And maybe it cleans up more on the verse. That can be a nice effect, but you don't want it too distorted on that big belting note, and you don't want it too clean on the verses. There's a sort of happy balance that you want to try and meet. Obviously, this is all subjective. You do what you want to do, but most of the time, you're not going to want very, very clean, full-on distortion. It's going to want to be a little bit more balanced usually. In terms of the compression situation, imagine your verse is fairly quiet. You're getting very little compression, maybe just a little tiny bit, 1 or 2 decibel gain reduction. Then the chorus comes in and all of a sudden you're getting 20 decibels gain reduction, and you can really hear the compressor pumping, and it never really sounds good. So essentially there you're working to try and balance it with the compressor. So that's the importance of clip gain. That's why it's useful. Now, it can be a little bit tedious to go through here, especially if you have a particularly dynamic vocalist. So let's ask ourselves the question, can we cheat? Can we do this an easy way? And the answer is yes, but obviously the caveat is you're never going to get the same quality of manually going in here and making it harmonious with the process train you're going to use. But I'll show you the quick way just in case you are in a rut and you want to work very efficiently. So one thing you can do is you can actually use this plugin here called Vocal Rider, which is from Waves. Now I have it set very, very subtle right now because I already did my clip gain. But I've made a new one here. I'm just going to turn all of these processors off just for now. So what we would do is, if you want to kind of cheat clip gain, you can essentially set this up to, let's say plus minus 6 decibels. And I think slow is probably the best setting for this. Let's just bring our target all the way back for now.
You do have a way with me. You and I have a love unbreakable by anything, everlasting throughout time. You and I will see the world far beyond the horizon. If I fall, you'll catch me. If you fall, I'll catch you.
So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to set it up in such a way that when the vocal is singing loudly, it brings it down a little bit. And when the vocal sings softly, but particularly at the end of lines where maybe the vocalist is running out of a little bit of air, it's going to start opening back up and push that fader up. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that down up sort of movements on the fader.
I know the feeling in me, you know the feeling too. It's like a white hot brush of passion, digging deep into our bones, you feel it.
So it worked particularly well here. So let's just isolate this part.
Digging deep into our bones, you feel it.
If I take this off now, you can hear how dynamic that part is.
Digging deep into our bones, you feel it.
So that bones there, the bones word is particularly transient. And this bit is very, very quiet. So bring this like this.
Digging deep into our bones, you feel it. At your fingertips, you feel it.
You can actually hear it there a lot. It almost sounds like a compressor there. And it's just about adjusting this to taste. So you might say, do you know what, I don't want that much of a movement. Maybe we'll go ±4.
Digging deep into our bones, you feel it. At your fingertips, you feel it. In your chest.
So that was a little bit more subtle there. So it is about adjusting that to taste. As I say, you will not be doing manual clip gain. A really good example is if you take this really transient part. Let's say, for instance, this was hitting the saturator a little bit too hard. You can literally just go in here and address that particular transient like that. Really get into the weeds with it. Obviously, it is a lot more time consuming. But it's worth it, you know, if you want to go for a professional sound, it is worth doing.